of God, the love of God. You know, your person said that we're going to talk about the love of God. The love of God crosses all of those barriers and brings those walls down. And so this book is about the fact that, first of all, it can happen. I think what's happening right now, our world is so divided. My gosh, politically,
Yeah.
everybody's on pins and needles today because of what's coming out of Minnesota. People have already made up their decisions, made up their minds about it. The races have been divided in the last year or so, maybe as never before in my life. I'm a little older than you, but as never before have I seen the kind of division that the world's in right now. And yet the word and the book emphasizes that there is a power of love, there's a power of God, there's a power of concern that can bring us together, and those walls that separate us can come down.
Welcome back to the channel, y'all. So yeah, hey, I want to take time to review or react to Jesse Lee Peterson. I think he is a great pastor and has a lot of insight, a lot of deep spiritual stuff to what he says, even though it sounds very simple. But ironically, simple is the way. The truth is simple. But I picked out this particular episode here where he talks with another pastor, and they're about the same age. This is around the time of George Floyd. So they talk about several topics, primarily race, the blacks, as Jesse calls it. And I want to make this video primarily just to kind of tell you why I like Jesse Lee Peterson. A lot of black people thinks that he's a sellout, and that's just based on what the mainstream blacks think about him. But I don't think he is at all. He pretty much tells the truth. But I want to kind of break down some of the points that Jesse is making and kind of show that contrast between a pastor like this here and a pastor like Jesse. So with that being said, I appreciate y'all for stopping by, and then we'll go ahead and get to it. Appreciate it. Let's go.
How old are you?
I'm 73 years old.
Amazing. How will this phony idea of racism end if white people don't stand up to the blacks and blacks continue to falsely accuse white people of being racist instead of taking responsibility for their own failure?
You lost me on your question. When you say that question, what's the question again?
How will this phony idea of racism ever end if white people don't start standing up to the blacks and blacks are forced to take responsibility for their own failure in life?
What do you?
Okay, I want to stop there because that right there was a lot. That was a lot. And I think it's so funny because even when Jesse first asked that long run-on question, it was so much in it. He's throwing out stuff like the blacks, the whites stand up to the blacks. And it just threw old boy off so hard. I just thought it was so funny. But Jesse, he's going to tell it straight. So first Jesse talks about the phony idea of racism. And I agree with what he's saying there. He makes comments and has a stance that there's no such thing as isms. No racism, no sexism, no homophobic ism. You know, he kind of has this little bit he does with it. But he's right. All these isms are fake. They really are fake, right? And to accept the idea of racism would be like it's almost a godless mentality. It's almost telling God he didn't know what he was doing when he created all people. Like he didn't know what he was doing. So racism is almost an affront to God, if you ask me. Now, are there different peoples? Do we have different characteristics? Do peoples like to stick together? Yes. Do people prefer their groups in a lot of situations? Yes. That's not racism. That's not racism. So racism, that word is used against us. It really is. So that's why Jesse says the fake idea of racism, everybody. All right, here we go. And just pay attention to what Jesse does.
You mean by a phony idea of racism? I don't understand.
The blacks are pretending that their issue, their lack of morality, their lack of family, their lack of love, their lack of believing in God is due to white people.
Their lack of family. Yes. Do we not have a lack of family right now? We do. Their lack of, I think he said love. We do lack love right now. because we've been sold hate. Our lack of believing in God. A lot of us don't believe in God. We say we do, but we actually don't. We don't believe in God. We don't believe in God. And God is just the truth. We don't believe in the truth. We believe in like college degrees, money, gold, education. Maybe I already said that. But we don't really believe in God. And that's kind of sad, actually. But we're going to get better. So Jesse's bringing out these points, and it's shocking to this other pastor here. He can't believe Jesse's saying that. And then Jesse's throwing out this thing, the blacks, the blacks, the blacks. I love that. I love how he does that. I don't know what Jesse knows as far as everything he knows and what he thinks about black people and who black people are, but that's what we are, the blacks. We are the blacks right now. So when he just says it straight, I don't know why people get so shocked at it. That's our image.
That's their inability to create and get jobs and do their thing. They're blaming the white people for it when it's their own failure. They're losers.
Well, you and I can end this conversation because I don't agree with that.
Why not?
At all.
Okay, I'm going to pause and say one thing here, and then I'm going to let it play for a while before I stop it again. But he said one thing that Jesse said that it really kind of caught my attention is when he says our inability to create things. And that seems to be the path that we've been set on this path of destruction where everything is, we don't create anything right now. We've been used to like destroy. We've been used as the cool kid to get destructive things passed or to be accepted. Our image, our likeness, our coolness, our energy is being used to destroy or to create paths for immorality. It's not being used as a guiding light to truth, love, God. And then on the other level, if you want to look at it from a more carnal or a more straightforward level, we don't have any end-to-end black industry business where from start to finish, A to Z, it's quote unquote black. It's not like that. And if you look around at what's happening in America right now, it looks like the plan is to keep it that way for us. You know, they're bringing in a lot of immigrants now, foreigners, illegals, and they're coming in and stepping right in. And it seems like they have a nice path to get that done. But not the blacks. So we can't create. We're not creating. On a spiritual level and on a fleshly level, man, we're not being used to create. All right, so I'm gonna let it play a little bit here.
I don't number one, what you just said, I don't do that. So when you say the blacks, I'm not sure who you're referring to.
Most, not all, but most. The ones that are pretending that it's about racism rather than it's about the lack of character in most black people.
I just totally disagree with you. I totally disagree with you that so you're saying that if you walk into a room and someone disparages you, or they disregard you, or they treat you differently because you're black, you're saying that's your fault?
That's their fault that they're acting that way, but it's your fault if you're that insecure that it causes you to overreact. And blacks are very insecure nowadays, the males and the females.
I have no idea where you're coming from, sir. You and I totally disagree, obviously, on this. And so my point would be, if you step on my toe, it's not my insecurity that you stepped on my toe. The reality is that you stepped on my toe. You hurt my foot.
But and white people are not stepping on the toes of black people.
They're stepping on mine.
How are they stepping on your toe?
On others. There are doors that are closed, and to be honest, and praise the Lord, things are changing. They certainly are changing.
By force, but not by choice.
Let's start from what we just heard and then go back a little bit. The pastor on the right there, I don't know his name, Omer. He said, they're stepping on mine, or if they disparage me. I mean, that's such a defeated message, a defeated way to look at things. Like, I can't get it done because someone else is disparaging me. It's almost like there's no God involved. It's like this man is standing in between you and God. And I don't see how any man can stand between us and God. That's what he's really saying. They stepping on my toe. We're only able to be used because we've been separated from God. We've been separated from truth. So once we connect back to the truth, which no one can stop that. No one can stop us from connecting back to the truth. Nobody. So the white man, the Jewish man, no one can step in between that if we just connect back to the truth. And that's what I get from Jesse's message, as opposed to the other guy's message, where it's like, we'll never see God or never see prosperity unless these white people be nice to us. That don't sound like a God mentality. And then Jesse brought up the point about, he says blacks are insecure, and we are so insecure. Think about it. We've been taught to be insecure. Our narrative is an insecure narrative. According to the narrative, we don't even have a land they call our own. That can make a people pretty insecure. We don't have, like I said, any end-to-end businesses. We don't have an identity. We were slaves. So that makes us insecure. We've bought into these narratives and into these ideas that are basically lies, and that'll create insecurity. And y'all know what insecurity does. You know what it does to guys. You know what it does to young girls. It causes issues. So we are very insecure. The reason you would get so insecure about, and I know he used it as a metaphor, about someone stepping on his foot, the only reason you would get so insecure about that is if you don't have anything else spiritually. Where your whole idea of who you are is based on your foot. Metaphorically speaking, though. You stepped on my foot. Well, if you had a land of your own, if you had an identity, if you had a nation, if you had end-to-end industry where the things that you created, your music, your essence, whatever you're creating as a quote-unquote black people was owned and controlled, your image from end to end with a land to go along with it. Someone steps on your foot, it don't really offend you as much. Amen to that. Let's keep going.
It's not going to work out for the blacks because they're trying to get justice, mob justice. They're still going to suffer. It's not going to work out for them, even though white people are running and giving them what they're begging for. Black people don't know how to build. They don't know how to make things better. It's only going to get worse.
What category do you put yourself in?
I'm sorry?
When you said the blacks, you're talking objectively. What category do you put yourself in? You're not in that category?
I'm American.
So you're not black?
I'm black in color, but my heart is white.
Your heart is white?
Yes.
My sir, I don't, well, that's not true. I don't know where our common ground is if you say you're black, but your heart is white.
Meaning that I'm black on the outside, but white on the inside.
How did you get a white heart?
By repenting for having a dark heart, and God renewed my heart, and now it's clean.
Why does your heart have to be black or white?
Because anyone that has anger has a black heart, but those who have the love of God has a white heart.
Why is white right and black not right?
Because black is evil and white is not.
But you just said you are black, so that means you whatever you say, you're still a black man.
I'm black on the outside, but not on the inside.
And inside you're white.
Do you believe race?
That was so sad. A lot of people probably didn't hear that like I hear it. I don't know. Maybe y'all do. But this Pastor Omer guy is really, in us as a people, we really identify with this color black, where we can't even tell the difference when someone's using it as the color black and black as in who you are in this world, black. Like, you can't even tell the difference. You just hear black, you want to defend even the word color black. Why your heart black? You don't understand the metaphor in having a black heart versus a white heart, or being white on the inside. He's not talking about your race, dummy. But we've been so like programmed and like beaten into this mindset of like identifying with this black. You just hear black and you're triggered. But it's like, maybe it's a subconscious thing where we want to identify with the idea of black so bad. We're going to have to let go of that. So it's just crazy, man. And Jesse understands that. And he moves on from it here. But it's amazing, really. Jesse always says, amazing. It is, because this guy and us as a people, man, a lot of us, most of us, have really identified with this idea of black. And it makes no sense. There's no heaven in that shit. There's no love in it. There's no truth in black. Nothing. It's a fake idea that we bought into. And that goes for most everything we dealing with right now that's causing us harm. We buying into things that we don't have to buy into. Everything's for sale. These ideas that we're hearing, they're for sale. And you're buying the idea of black. You're buying the idea of racism. Someone thought of that and sold it to you, literally. And then they get paid from it. Think about it. It's just a product. It's literally a product. The idea of black is literally a product the same way Pepsi is. It really is if you think about it. And once we realize that we have the power to own our image again, to own the truth again, nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop that. And I'm talking about for us as black people in particular, but for all mankind, man. So I thought that was an interesting segment right there about that whole black thing back and forth.
Racism exists.
I think bias. I think racism exists in the sense that there are people who will look at you differently. I don't care what color you say your heart is. Look at you differently, respond you differently, give you certain opportunities, open certain doors because you are or because you are not a certain color. I think that's part of humanity. I think that's changing.
But that's not racism. You're right about that. A lot of blacks, which anyone that doesn't go along with them with their mess, they will discriminate against you. That's just evil. That's not racism.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I don't know.
I said you're right in that a lot of black people, when you don't go along with their mess, they will discriminate against you. They try to close doors on you. They call you names. They're trying to keep you down because if you don't go along with their mess, they hate you for it. So you're right about that.
This guy's head is blown. He don't know what's going on. Jesse's flipping everything on him. And people think, Jesse, I don't take away this is being coon activity. He's just showing you it right back at you. He's flipping it. That's all. If what Jesse is saying doesn't sound right, then what you're saying can't sound right. It can't. Because he's saying the same thing. He's just flipping it. Black people will treat you. I've heard black people call other black people coons and sellouts and everything else when they don't go along with the black. It's something as simple as like these politics. Somebody wants to vote Ye wore the red hat. People went nuts. But then we learn in history that you got the right to vote and choose who you want to. That was the whole point, I thought. So it's just all kinds of madness. So Jesse brought a good point up. He just flipped it, and this guy can't even fathom that shit. He can't even understand the question. He's so separated from reality, he can't even understand the question. When Jesse asks the question, it's like he goes, he almost short circuits, man. It's funny as I don't know what. All right, here we go, guys. We're going to play a couple more minutes of it probably, and then get on out of here.
Who the white people hate you for it?
No, the blacks.
The black people hate you because I think
you know how when you don't go along.
I think we need to acknowledge that you're doing a very, very broad statement when you're using categories like the blacks and this, and you're not putting yourself in that category, but you just said you're black with a white heart. I'm very interested. How did you get a white heart?
I told you, God renewed my heart from hate to love.
He can't let that whole white thing go with the white heart and the black heart. It's really fucking him up. And it's so obvious what Jesse's talking about. This ain't that complicated, guys. The Bible even talks about white being clean and, darkness and light, things like that. But you identify with that as if it's you. It's ridiculous.
And love is white?
Yes, it's clean.
Clean is different than white. Your word was white.
Right, meaning that I'm not dark on the inside anymore. But let me ask, you believe that racism exists?
I think there is racism in the world. Of course there is.
Does God say that racism exists or that racism is in the world?
Does God say it? No.
Yes.
Oh, no. You and I do agree. I think we agree. You and I agree that racism is not a godly thing.
Right, so why do you call it racism then?
What else?
Very good interview. I'm going to stop it there. I love Jesse's breakdown of why he believes racism does not exist. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to the full interview here. I think it's a good one. It's funny. Jesse's coming straight down the middle with it. And this guy right here. So here's the thing with us. And, you know, we all know something's not right. A lot of us have this gut thing that something's quite not right. But we've been guided to aim at the wrong things as the solution. You know, someone's kind of sending us in the wrong way. Like we're saying, hey, something's not right. And we're running up to a person and saying, hey, something's not right. Which way should I go? And they're saying, hey, go that way. And we're going that way, and they know that's the wrong way. And we're going down this path that's the wrong way, you know? So it's hard for a lot of us to fathom things that Jesse says because it sounds like Jesse's saying that something's not wrong. He's not saying things aren't wrong. He's just pointing in the right direction, saying, no, it's this way. That's it. Your gut feelings about this place, about this system are correct. But the solutions that we're being given are not the ways to get out of this and to bring prosperity to us and to bring truth back to the world. You know, we're starting 2026. We're in the first week of January here. A lot of revealing went on in 2025, and may we have more. We're coming into that point where a lot more truth is going to be exposed, and people are going to have to resolve that feeling that they have of denying the truth. So when you hear guys like Jesse, man, really hear what he's saying. When you hear guys like Ye, listen to what he's really saying. When you hear guys like Nick Fuentes, listen to what he's really saying. When you hear, maybe Candace, or that's all I say, me, shit, there's other people out there, right? Hear what they really trying to say and hear the truth. When you hear the truth, you should know the truth, all right? So bravo to Jesse, man. This is a great interview. I think it really embodies the difference between a pastor like Pastor Omer, who has all these degrees from these seminary schools and all that stuff, and a guy like Jesse who can just see straight through it, man. And he's really giving us a good way of seeing things, a more clearer way of seeing things. So salute to Jesse Lee Peterson once again. And with that being said, I'll see y'all next time.
Hey, now I'm gonna just get to my point right now. None of these things that you need to be involved in order to be down with the culture are owned by Black people. So who designed the culture?